zo professioneel als je eigen toch?
Ja. Alright, I'm gonna try it without a mic as well. Can everybody hear me? Okay? Yeah. Very good? Okay. So today we're gonna try something new. At least I'm gonna try something new. Because I hope you had your shot of code with the previous presenter. But I'm not gonna show you any code today. I don't have any slides. So that's going to be interesting, but please bear with me, and I hope I can make it work for you a while. I'm Thijs Suiten. I work at Q42, and Q42 is a software agency. We make apps and websites and all the cool stuff. And I'm an engineer, you're engineers, and today we're going to talk about feelings. How about that? I hope you're excited. We're going to talk about happiness. And when are you as an engineer happy or maybe demotivated, frustrated? I don't know about you, but I have been happy as an engineer, but I've also been very demotivated and frustrated at some point in time. And to start with feelings, let me ask this question and just think about it for a second. When did you feel most satisfied doing your job as an engineer? I hope you're recalling some pleasant memory from the past or maybe from the present.
Good feelings.
Good feelings. Maybe it was that one time that you made and finished that nice and slick animation and you were dying to show it to your designer. Maybe it was your unit test suite turning green again after that major refactor that you have done. But let's just get real. More likely it was when you have written your first unit test that was long overdue. Right? That's how it goes. Preparing this talk made me think about my own experience as an engineer. When was I the most happiest, the most satisfied and happy doing my job? So that made me think a little bit. A few moments came to mind. One of those was when I was working with the PostNL app. So we made the PostNL app, the app that you can use for tracking your packages. And at one point in time, we as a team were dying to try out a new feature. But each and every time we suggested to build that feature, we heard no. We can't build that because of reasons. And there were valid reasons. One of the reasons was that the package couriers are freelancers and they get to decide their own route. So PostNL basically doesn't know which route a driver is going to take. The trucks or the apps that delivery guys use, they're not sending out a GPS signal, so we don't actually know where they are. But still, we as a team felt that it would be really valuable for customers if this feature would be present. Because sometimes PostNL gives you a time slot of 2 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours, or sometimes even longer. And as a consumer, if you're waiting for your package, you want to know, can I go grocery shopping just for a second, or can I jump under the shower, or should I wait for my package to arrive? So, as a team, we had an idea. We thought, okay, there are some limitations, but maybe you can do some stuff within those boundaries. And we talked about this with our product owner, and we discussed this, and he said, okay, let's just go ahead, try out what you want, and see what happens. So that was really awesome. And at that time, and as I recall, we still do have a beta program. So we had a beta program of about 1,000 users for Android and iOS that were in that special beta program that allowed us to test new features. And this special version of the app had Intercom integrated into it, which allowed us to chat with end users and see what they thought about it. So we decided to test that new feature in that beta program. So basically we as a team now suddenly had the opportunity to try this new feature and build it on ourselves. So that's what we did. In a matter of, I thought it was like a week, maybe 2 weeks, together with the backend team, we built this complete feature. We added a map in the app, and when you received the package, you could tap on the map icon, and you could see where your package would be delivered. And the way we solved this, because we had to work with the boundaries, is we didn't know where the driver actually was, but we did know where he delivered his packages previously. So we used that data to plot that on the map. So you as a user could see, okay, he's in my neighborhood, or no, he's still miles away, and he's not coming to me for some time. And we had some wild ideas about using that data and putting some machine learning and AI and all that stuff on it to like predict the route the driver was going to take, so we could actually predict when he would be at your door. Like the driver will be at your door in 15 minutes or maybe less. So we shipped that feature within 1 or 2 weeks, and as a team, and the team consisted of Android engineer, myself, iOS engineer, and a designer. And we were actually with the product owner behind Intercom. So we were actually receiving feedback from the users using that feature. We were answering questions, we were getting compliments, we were getting frustrated people because like we show only the data that was available. Someone would see the driver coming closer, coming closer, coming closer. Ah, no, not yet. And it still waited like 2 hours before the package got around. But still, it was really valuable. It was a really nice experience to learn how those people liked or disliked the feature, and we could learn that and use that to improve on it. So that was basically one time when I was feeling really happy and satisfied being an engineer. And okay, thinking back, why was I so happy at that point in time? I came up basically with 3 things. I was so happy because we had a clear sense of purpose as a team. So, like I said, it was basically something we as a team really wanted to do, and we convinced our product owner that we could actually do this. So we had a clear sense of purpose, we knew what we wanted to achieve, and how we wanted to do that. We were close to the end user. Because, in my opinion, you might be satisfied with that unit test, or you might be satisfied with that single animation, or you might be satisfied using Flutter and code reloading, because that's awesome. But in the end, technology is only interesting with people. So the code we write is only a means to an end. We create something that empowers a person to complete a task, to do something. So what was really cool during that phase is that because we were talking to those end users, we were actually really connecting with the people using our product. And that was one of the reasons why we felt appreciated and we felt like we were in control and really empowering someone to do something. So that was the second thing, user feedback. And the third thing that really motivated us as a team was autonomy. Because basically we only said we want to do something, we want to help users predict when a package arrives. We didn't have a clear sense of what exactly we were going to build. That's something we figured out along the way. So we as a team had autonomy to make decisions, design decisions, technical decisions on how to tackle this problem. And those are the main three parts that I identified that made us as a team very motivated and creative at that point in time. And luckily that was not the only time. I thought a little harder, and there was another time that I was really happy, and that was before I worked at Q42. I had my own company and I was running my own startup, and I was building my own product. And that was also a time that I was really, really happy. I was really, and it didn't matter what technology I used. It mattered because those same three things were also aligned. So I had that sense of purpose because it was my own idea I was building. I had autonomy because it was my own startup. And I was close to the users because, again, I was creating a device. In this case, I won't go into any detail. If you want to know, then come and ask me later. But I was creating a physical device, and I could put it in the hands of the end user and see how they use it. I could see mistakes that they were making. That wasn't their mistake, it was my mistake for not creating the best UI. But it really gave me a sense of seeing those users enjoy the product I built. So that was really awesome. Alright, all in good. I've worked in a couple of teams that were really motivated and happy. But I've also worked in teams that were really frustrated and demotivated and very low on energy. More interestingly, I worked on a team that started out on this end on the scale, being really happy and motivated, and give it a little over a year, ending up on the other side of the scale, being really demotivated and unhappy and frustrated and angry. So, what happened there? What things happened that made a team with over a year shift from one end on the spectrum to the other end? Let me share that story with you. What happened? It was for a project called Stockholm. And to give you a little bit of sense of what that is, Stockholm was a grocery service that helped users replenish their stock at home. So if you would order Coca-Cola, a beer, coffee, then the service would predict when you would run out of coffee, cola or beer, and it would automatically suggest those items on the shopping list for you. So it was basically some kind of personal assistant for groceries. When Q42 when I started on this project, they were still validating their idea. So it was a team of 2 people, one founder and one person that was gathering the user feedback, and they were still validating the idea. Most of the time they would just be sitting at a table in people's home, looking into their cupboards. What kind of groceries do you have? What kind of stuff do you need? And they were communicating with them via WhatsApp. So they were really doing all the lean startup things and really getting to the users, validating their idea. And at some point in time, they wanted to scale it. So they were servicing like maybe 10 customers, and they wanted to scale to 100. But being at someone's home all the time it doesn't scale well. So they wanted some technology to help them scale to 100 users. So what we did is we sat next to them and we tried to understand what they were doing and what problems they were facing. And we built technology, a simple grocery list that people could fill out online, simple web application. And they were still communicating a lot via WhatsApp. And we made some Tiki integration, so it's a payment flow. And that allowed them to scale up a little bit because most of the hassle from that process was automated. And that was really fun to do because we were sitting next to those people and we were building their product with them. Time passed and they kind of validated their own idea. So there was traction. People liked the service And they want to scale up even further. They want to scale to 1,000 users, to 10,000 users. So, like on the technology side, things needed to happen as well. They had to stop communicating via WhatsApp. They needed to mature their technology stack. So that's what we did. We started building an app. We grew as a team. We grew from 2 people to, I think, 4 or 5 people as an engineering team at Q42. But not only did we grow, they grew as well. They started out 2 people. They hired a new CEO. They hired some backend people. They hired people who did user support. At one time, the team grew from 2 to 25 people in a very short period of time. They were actually also struggling with warehouses and getting groceries to the people, because when there were just 2 people, they would just go to Albert Heijn, get the groceries there, drive to someone's house and deliver those groceries. But that was not scalable as well. So a lot was going on. They got their own office in Utrecht, and time passed, and we were getting feature requests for the new app. We got a feature request in, talking to the product owner, and we thought, why are we building this feature? This is really big, it takes us a lot of time to build, and how does it contribute to your bigger goal? We didn't understand. And then it happened again. We got another feature request, and we thought, why do you want this? Again, this is a lot of work. We don't understand. We were just continuously thinking, why are you building this? You're building the wrong things. And this continued over time, up to a point that basically someone from Stockholm said to us, I want this feature, and we said, why? We don't understand. Why are you building? Do you want to build this? And they just said, oh, come on, could you please shut up? Stop whining and just build what we asked you to build. Is that? We were angry. We were frustrated. We were pouring our heart and our souls into this project, and someone gives you this. This is not what you get out of bed for. At least that's not why I get out of bed for doing my job. So totally sucked. We were out of our minds. And then, when the dust settled a little bit, we thought, okay, what's going on here? Obviously, we have grown apart. So Stockholm grew, our team grew, we weren't seeing each other as much as we did. Plus, there were a lot of extra people in the organization who all had an opinion on stuff. And when we weren't so angry anymore, we thought, is it that unreasonable that they say this to us? And taking a step back, we realized maybe we would have responded in the same way. Because what was happening, they had a large team, they were discussing all kinds of things and worrying about the warehouse and about I don't know what. And they were coming up with features. And they would go to us. We're an agency, they hired us to build this stuff. And the only thing we did was whine and bitch about it. So, at some point in time, they would probably have this reaction, right? Because we were only, pushing back at them. But what we didn't do is push back, which is good, but then take a step and see how can we help this, fix this problem, because the actual problem was that we were not aligned anymore. Their business goals were not aligned what we as a team thought we were building, what we were hired for, because that has grown apart and it's a startup, so things are moving fast, right? So that was really interesting process to be in. It was kind of a roller coaster and painful at some point in time, but we learned a lot from that process. And thinking about these 3 key elements that made me happy at least a couple of times. So a clear sense of purpose, user feedback, and autonomy. Those 3 things were all gone when Stockholm and Q42 engineering team grew apart. Because we did not have this clear sense of purpose, because their business goals, they were clearly thinking other things than we were. So we were not aligned in terms of what do we want to achieve and why. We didn't have so much user feedback anymore because they had a customer support department dealing with all the customer feedback. So basically we were building stuff and we did not really know what users liked or disliked from it. And we didn't have autonomy because they were just telling us what to do. So that's not autonomy. We couldn't make our own decisions. So strikingly, and there's obviously more things that could make you happy as an engineer, but I see these three things being really important, that they are in balance in your team. So I thought never again. I never again want to experience this experience. It really sucked. I hated coming to work, and I hated building things we didn't believe in, because that was what was happening. They made us build what they were paying us for. But we as a team, it was not only me, it was the whole team, we didn't believe in it. So that really sucked. So I thought never again, and on my next project I want to fix this. And I also learned a valuable lesson. It's okay to be frustrated about something, but if you're frustrated about something, then either don't be frustrated or do something to fix it, because otherwise it's pointless. Right now I'm working at the 9292 project. That's an app for public transportation. We're building a new app. And there was a time that I was frustrated. And I thought about my experience with Stockholm. We were actually needed to build in advertisements into the app. Now, advertisements are not my favorite subject. They're definitely not, but this was just something that needed to happen. And I knew why. The purpose was clear, because the company needs to make money. But still, I didn't like it. And we were stuck as a team, because we tried to implement the advertisements, but they just didn't work. We were using some SDKs and it just didn't work. And there are a lot of moving parts in advertisement land. One of them is technical stuff, so SDKs, and then you have Google Ad Manager, and that needs to have all kinds of campaigns. They were doing that at 9292, and then we had this third party giving us SDKs to show the ads. And we were stuck. We were like, okay, it's not working, I don't know what's happening, please give me information to fix it. That's it. That's my role as a developer, right? I just need to implement it and give me the specs and I will build it. But we were not moving anywhere. We were not going anywhere, because the Google Ad Manager team said, okay, all things are good here, and the SDK said, well, every other company is getting it working, so why aren't you? Okay, so I thought, okay, I'm frustrated, how can I fix this? Even maybe when it's not part of my job description to be an advertising expert, I said, I want this to be fixed, so I dove into how do these advertisements work, how does Google Ad Manager work. I sat next to the people in 9292 to understand what they were doing. And in the end, I organized a meeting with someone from the SDK that provided the SDKs. I incorporated the people that were putting the Ad Manager campaigns in place, and someone from Android and someone from iOS. And then we were able to fix this issue as a team. So I got it unstuck and was able to move forward and got it straightened out. So I can rest assured, if the new 9292 app comes out, there will be ads. Yay! Not only did I make this feature work, but something else happened. I experienced that there was a mutual, we solved this problem as a team. We couldn't solve it on our own. Before we were just tossing problems over the fence to each other, but now there was mutual respect And the result was that, that we were not each other's enemy anymore. So usually you see in departments that they're considered enemies, but now we have solved this problem with each other and all was good. So that was really something where I could apply what I've learned to my new project. What is the best way to get someone to do something for you? The best way. Does anybody know?
Use a gun.
Sorry?
Use a gun.
Use a gun. That's the way. Is it the best way? Anyone else? No? I'm going to tell you. Maybe it's the only way to get a good result. The way is to make that other person actually want to do it. That's the only good way to make someone do something you want.
Do with a gun.
You could use the gun. I will give you an example. Because if you use a gun, then what do you think? What would it do to your relationship? What would that do to the desired result? Would someone really do their best to give you the best desired outcome? No, because they have a gun to their head. And this applies to people in general. So this summer I was on vacation, and I have 2 daughters. We went to the beach, and the sun was shining. It was a warm day. So we were at the beach. My kids were playing, and at some point in time you have to protect your kids, right? That's what parents want to do, protect their kids. I don't know if there are any parents here in the audience, but as a parent, that's your most important job. So, the sun was shining, I wanted to protect my kids. What do? Apply sunscreen, right? Yeah. What do kids not want to do?
Stop playing.
They want to continue playing, and they don't want you to come in and put all sticky stuff on their body. That's not what they want to do. So I thought, okay, how can I make my daughter, her name is Lieke, how can I make Lieke want me to put sunscreen on her body? Because that's the way you make someone do something you want. So I thought, okay, let's try this. So I said to her, so Lieke, you know, when you get a sunburn, that really hurts, right? Yes, she said. This morning, when you put sunscreen on your body, you were wearing a shirt, right? Yes, she said. Okay, so that's tactic number 1 here. Get someone to say yes a couple of times, then it's more likely that they will say yes to your next question. Okay, let's continue the conversation. Right now, you're not wearing a shirt, you're wearing your bikinis. So, your belly and your back are not protected by the sunscreen, right? Yes, she said. So what should we do about it? And what did she say? She said, Daddy, do you want to help me put sunscreen on? Well, mission accomplished, right? And just a small disclaimer, kids are still kids. So sometimes, no matter what you do, they will still say no because they're kids. But in this time, it worked. And it was really nice to see that just the easy thing for me as a parent would have been, okay, come and barge in, grab her while she's playing, put the sunscreen, okay, I'm going to put sunscreen on you. What would she have said? She would have said, no, I don't want it. So it was really awesome to see that this really works, this stuff. Do with it whatever you want. But the same applies to software engineers. And I think personally there's a big role, so pay attention there in the back. I know there's a product owner here. So I think there's a big role here for product owners. Because engineering teams, in order to be happy and to have that sense of purpose, they must want to build the stuff that you want them to build themselves. That's when you get the most out of your team. That's when you get the team's creativity. That's when they think of solutions that you might not have thought of. That's when their teams are really thriving. So as a product owner, you should provide, of course, part of your role is to shield your team from stuff that's going on in the business. The team doesn't have to know everything. But it's really important that a team gets enough context. That a team knows what goals is the business trying to achieve and why. Make them understand that. Do not just tell them what they should build. Do not just give them a feature and with designs and everything worked out and just build this, because that's basically putting a gun against their head. That's, as a team with Stockholm, we ended up with, just shut up and build what we give you. That's not a good place. Give them more of a framework with boundaries. So this is the feature, this is what we want to achieve, this is why we want it. Maybe this is the metric that you can use to measure it. And then give them some boundaries and leave the implementation details to the designer and the teams. Because maybe they will come up with some solution that you would not have thought of. So that's really important role for a product owner. I'm actually preparing a talk for product owners, sharing my thoughts as an engineer to what they should provide to the team in order to be really successful and thriving. But that's for another. So, in short, what I've learned is that know what you're trying to achieve and why. So know your engineering team is part of a bigger whole. Know that bigger whole and what direction is it pointing at. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Know the purpose of it. If you don't know that, if you're just working in your silo, and then go to your product owner, go to your client and ask them and have a conversation with them to make sure that you're aligned with that. Because my experience is, as an engineer, we're making all kinds of micro decisions in implementing a feature, and if we know what we're aiming for, then we make the right decisions. But if you don't know, then maybe you're making the right decisions. You don't know. So and make sure that there's some kind of user feedback loop. So the people that actually use your product, make sure that the experience of those people end up in your team. And this could be the positives, the compliments that you get, but also the negatives. So what do people dislike about it or are confused about it? It's really valuable input as a team. And last but not least, if you're frustrated, if you're angry about something, then take action, do something about it. Even if it's not part of your job description, take action and take back control over your own happiness. Thank you very much.